Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you for listening to my story. My story takes place December 17th of last year. I was traveling to my mother's house from North Chesterfield on Powhite Parkway. She wanted to go shopping at Toys R Us for my nephew, so I was going to watch him. And I was about 10 minutes into my ride, and I saw a pickup truck that had slid and hit the guardrails, and it was blocking 2 lanes of the Powhite Parkway. I hit my brakes, and my car did nothing because the ice was on parts of the road. So I did my best to avoid the truck, but I did not avoid it. I hit it head on, and luckily the driver was outside of his car, so he was fine. I got out of my car. I was fine. I hit the guardrail, not a scratch on me. I got out of my car and I realized everybody was okay, and I sort of breathed a sigh of relief. And I was going to call my mom, but before I could get her on the phone, I turned around and the driver of the truck said, "Holy shit," and there was a car headed straight for us. I was a little bit farther from the guardrail than he was, so he jumped over the guardrail, and I did not make it. I tried running away from the car, and it didn't work. The car hit me probably going about 30 or 40 miles an hour. It threw me forward. Then the car ran over me. I didn't lose consciousness. I heard everything. It sounded like exactly what you would think, like running over a speed bump at high speed. When the car finally did stop, I think I lost consciousness for a few seconds. When I woke up, my head was stuck under the rear axle of the car. Everything else on my body was fine. I could move, but I was wedged under this car by my head. So both of my ears were covered by either the gravel or the car axle itself, so I couldn't hear anything. But I started screaming, and nobody could really hear me. I could see cars passing by and stuff, and it was probably like a minute and a half before somebody realized that I was under there. And by that time, the car's exhaust was burning my shoulder. And the car was so heavy that I could feel my skull and jaw fluctuating from the weight of the car. 3 people were able to lift the car, and I was dragged out from underneath the car. I was completely coherent, and I knew what was going on and everything. The person that pulled me out of the car happened to be a trauma doctor at MCV, and the person that held my head and kept me from bleeding out to death was a trauma nurse at MCV as well. I got in the ambulance, and I just kept telling myself I have to stay awake, or so I get to the hospital, and of course they're asking me all these questions, and they're like, "Do you want me to call your mom?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't remember her phone number." So the only phone number I remember was my grandmother's, and I told them explicitly, "Don't let them come because it's icy out on the road and I don't want them to wreck." So my cousin was the first person to get there. He has a big SUV type 4-wheel drive. He was there in an hour. And he was there, and of course I cried and everything. And then And then my mom came, and my cousin told me that she heard everything. She heard the screaming in the car hitting me, and I didn't know like what to do, you know. It was just sort of a crazy moment. Well, my mom came in and she told me, you know, she was crying, and you know, I just told her I'm still here, you know, and it's just really hard to see your parent go through something like that, and I got full body scans of like CAT scans and X-rays, and I was all right, you know. No broken bones, no internal bleeding, just a lot of like third-degree burns from being dragged on asphalt, and I had so much support from people, and a lot of people have asked me, you know, like, what, did you like change your life completely? And the answer is no, because I didn't live a life of, you know, I wasn't like regretful of my life before. It's just sort of reiterating things that are really important in life when stuff like this happens. So the only thing I can say that's sort of preachy is like, we can all be better people. If you, I heard somebody say this saying recently, which really resonated with me: fall in love with your existence. And it doesn't really mean like fall in love with yourself. It just means like the change that you make around with other people in your life. And I you know, people say stuff like, you know, do you feel lucky and stuff like that, and it's like, you don't realize how many of these things happen when it doesn't happen to you. I think I've seen 4 instances of people being killed on the highway since my accident, and I just really hope that their families and stuff can heal, because, you know, I just, seeing the pain on my mother's face was just one of the things that I'll never forget. I'm gonna wrap it up. Will you guys do me a huge favor? All right. I'm gonna embarrass the shit out of my girlfriend. Will you guys just give my girlfriend a hand, because she's been with me this whole time. Here she is, everybody. Keep it going. Keep it awesome. Thank you so much.